Hello everyone and welcome to the channel. I'm Emmanuel, I'm an Airbus pilot, and welcome to our second flight in the fly-by-wire Airbus A380. Our first flight took us from Frankfurt to Düsseldorf, which was one of a promotional tour of Lufthansa. This time we are going to go onto an actual line training flight from Singapore Airlines. And Singapore has conducted those in the first period post the COVID shutdowns, where the A380 crews had to be trained again to become current again, and so they operated the A380 between Singapore and Kuala Lumpur, which is about a 45-minute flight. Now, let's go ahead and make use of that very route, and we are going to head into our cockpit to start setting up our magnificent Airbus A380 for our flight. A last little disclaimer over here. Just like the A380 is new to all of you, it is also new to me, and even though I am trying to use as many official documents as possible in order to enhance my knowledge about the SOPs and the aircraft, needless to say that a day after the release of the plane, I wouldn't consider myself a pro A380 driver, so do keep that in account, please. Alright, so with that out of the way, let's go ahead and take a seat on the captain's seat over here of our beloved new machine, and we are going to start setting it up. So, general things down here, the engine masters are all off, the engine start selector is in the norm position, landing gear lever is down, and the wiper selectors are both off. So then we can go ahead and turn on all our batteries, like so. And then we can turn on the external power as well. So the aircraft is powering up. Let's give it a short while to do that. And while the plane is powering up, we can go ahead and set our lights as needed. So we're going to turn all of those down, but I'll turn the intake light up a little bit. And we can also bring up our display units. Like this, and like this. Same thing on the other side. And here we go. That's much better, isn't it? Alright, so the cockpit lights are set, and then we can go ahead and start the initialization of our electronic flight bag. Let's go ahead and do that down here. We can import our SimBrief data, and if we have a look at our flight plan, let's first of all go down a little bit to see the significant weather charts, which we have right down here. So as you can see, the entire area has some isolated embedded cumulonimbus up to flight level 500, so there's weather all around over here. Let's go ahead and have a look at the specifics of the airport weather then. And going right up here, we've got our departure, Singapore, reporting few 2000 TCUs, and our destination, Kuala Lumpur, is reporting heavy thunderstorms in 1500 meters visibility with scattered clouds in 200 feet. So, yep, there's the party at the moment. Alright, the forecast in itself confirms that thunderstorms will be there at the time of our flight. So, yeah, overall, our alternates are going to bring us back towards Singapore as planned. However, I have a feeling we are going to be using one of those. So the upmost one up here, Whiskey Mike Kilo November, actually has the best weather conditions. So let's go ahead and change the fuel from what they have planned. Whiskey Mike Kilo November, the fuel for that is 8,246 kilos. Well, our return to Singapore actually bears quite a bit more, so if we keep Singapore as alternate in the plan, then that is good. Alright, so plan takeoff 24.9 plus 800, let's make that 26 tons of fuel, and with that we should be good to go. So let's go ahead and start the load. We are going to start with the fuel down here, and we said we are looking at 26 tons, and we'll make it an instant refueling over here. I really don't want to board the A380 in real time. Alright, 440 guests on board, 8,800 kilos cargo, and that is looking good. We are going to make that instant, just for the fun. Realistic loading would take 37 minutes and 40 seconds. Now, we're gonna do that instant, shall we? Alright, here we go. So, that's our aircraft now boarded, main deck and upper deck. The upper deck is the important one. All the business class seats and the suites in the first class are sold. With that, the flight is paid for. Alright, then we can move a little bit further down onto our Navigraph charts, and we're going to start with the taxi charts. Now, you might notice that some airports have dedicated taxi charts for the Airbus A380. Now, you should always check if any charts for the A380 are available. For example, over here, code Foxtrot taxi chart. The A380 is the code Foxtrot aircraft, so that's the aircraft we are going to take. Now, we are parking over here right now, and our taxi is going to lead us out for runway 20 center most likely. That means we can't use taxiway Quebec over here, since our wingspan is too wide, and we will probably run into some of the obstructions next to the taxiway here. That means we got to go up and use Papa, and then come down here for runway 20 center for the departure, or use 20 right, but I kind of want to use 20 center, so that we get a little bit more taxi experience in the aircraft. Right, apart from that, we also need our standard instrument departure, and that one is going to be the Masbo 5 Bravo departure. So, let's see that we can find this. If you see Masbo 5 Bravo, do screen please. So, we start with Masbo, here it is, Masbo 5 Bravo. Alright, pinned, and that's it. Last but not least, we gotta go ahead and do our preliminary takeoff calculations, and unfortunately we do currently not have any takeoff calculator available for the aircraft per se, but what we can use is the calculator that comes with SimBrief. So here's our flight plan, and as you can see, if I hit the takeoff performance button, that actually gives us a takeoff calculator for the A380. Now you can see I've already done those calculations over here. Let's go ahead and just slightly reduce our runway length so that we account for any bad lineups that I might do while I'm still getting comfortable with the aircraft. You can also hit populate weather, and that's the latest we have currently available. Okay. So calculate. Flaps 1 takeoff at 66 degrees flags, and the speeds are over here. Stop margin 510 meters. Green dot 195. Perfect. So, now that we've got all of this prepared, let's go ahead and start to continue with our setup. So, next things next, let's go ahead and make sure we've got the ADRS turned on. We are gonna do the APU and engine fire test. And then let's go ahead and start up that APU because it is rather warm outside with a temperature of about 28 degrees at the moment. And while we're on it, let's turn those displays up a little bit further. Okay, so that much about our general setup. Then let's go down into the FMS. And what do we have down here? A380-800 Trent 972 engines. The database is, well, current at the day of this recording, but by the time you are going to see this video, probably out of date. Well then, let's go down into the flight initialization, and we are going to make our company flight plan request from SimBrief. And received company flight plan, let's go ahead and insert that. Here we go, Singapore 126 from Singapore to Kuala Lumpur with the alternate back in Singapore. Right, APU is available. So let's go ahead and turn the APU bleed on in order to start cooling the aircraft down. Alright. So, everything over here is looking good. Then let's go on and make sure that our IRS is doing a proper initialization. And as you can see, it is aligning on the GPS position. And that is all we need over here. Okay, perfect. So with that, let's go on with our aircraft acceptance. Recall. 1, 2, 3. So, looking good. No faults stored in the system up here. Then, our MEL and CDL are checked. Aircraft configuration summary. Well, A380. It's all new for us anyway, so we don't even have to go over this. And then we can go ahead with our basic aircraft checks. So let's go ahead and have a look. We are going to start down here. Oxygen quantities are good. Hydraulic quantities are also good. And I just want to see if we actually have engine oil quantities now. So let's turn the FADAC on. Here we go. And it still shows all quantity 0. Okay, so that's definitely, that wasn't a one-off on our last flight, so that's actually a work in progress at the moment. Also, I hope. Okay, perfect. Well, then we can continue. So, that is the basic checks we had to do. The flaps are retracted in agreement with the lever, the speed brakes as well. And then we can check our parking brake, release. Okay, alternate brake system works, and then we can go off the brakes again, set the parking brake, and here we go. Accumulator pressure is a little bit reduced right now. If I'm not totally mistaken, it in the A380 it should be connected to the green hydraulic system, but I'm not 100% sure which of those the electric pump is. No, I'm not gonna hit any of those. I don't care, we do have sufficient pressure available in the system. That's all we need. I'm not gonna touch anything that I'm not 100% sure is not gonna break the aircraft. Okay, well then, let's go ahead and continue with our panel scan. So, oxygen, crew supply on, flight recorder, ground control on, the evacuation switch should go to captain only over here, but is not simulated at the moment. Strobe light auto, nav lights on, seatbelts on, no smoking auto, emergency exit lights on. Let's go up here. Flight deck temperature, let's just put that into the middle. Right, refueling is finished, 26 tons on board. And here we go. And on the right side, that is looking good as well. Down to the center panel then. Flight director coming on, constraints, airports. And here we go. So, what's the current QNH again? 1009. Here we go. And the same down here. Switching is all on normal, landing at gravity extension guarded. Timer is checked, looking good, and getting down here. Everything is good for the time being, listening to VHF 1 and 2, and to the interphone down here as well. Alright, wonderful. So that's our basic setup complete, then let's go into the FMS. So, Singapore 126, from Singapore to Kuala Lumpur, alternate Singapore, cruising in level 260, all that stuff is looking good. So, for our departure, off runway 20, center, and the sit is going to be the Masbo 5 Bravo departure. And then we can return to the temporary. And for our destination, let's see what they have in charge for us. 3-2 right at the moment. Just gonna enter it like that. If things change later on, then they change later on. ILS approach, 3-2 right, and we are going to arrive via the Gupta 1 Golf arrival. Here we go. And let's have a quick look on the other side. Gupta 1 Golf ends at Eguri, so let's take via Eguri. Alright, back to the temporary and insert. Alright, then we gotta cross-check that all our SID is correct. So, let's see that. Masbo 5 Bravo. That's gotta be the one going to the left then, right? Okay, so straight at Ibixu 1500, Ibiza 2500. Let's see that on the plan mode. So Ibixu, Ibiza, then we have Dubot above 4000, Adpon, Salru, and then on towards Tekong above 7000. And indeed, that is what it looks like. And then we continue via Acoma above 11,000 towards Aqua, Sabka and Masbo. And that is exactly what we are supposed to have. Perfect. Well then, let's see. Transition altitude 11,000 and... I don't see any in... Oh yeah, there is an initial climb clearance. 3,000. That is not very high. We are gonna reach that quickly. So we better be careful. Alright, well then let's continue. So now that we have our flight plan, let's go back to the init page. So, nav aids, we don't need any over here. Then, fuel and load. So, zero fuel weight, let's take it right from here, is 345.8. Well, suppose we can as well use this one here. Alright, so keyboard on. 3, 4, 5. No? Okay. Well, keyboard off. So 345 point... Okay, it needs the decimal, it seems. Well, in that case, let's move over here for a bit. So 345.8, and the center of gravity, oh, come on, is 35.3. Okay, block fuel is 26 tons. Taxi 0.7. I'll just leave the rest as it is for the time being. Okay, so return, and then takeoff performance. So we had our previous inputs from SimBrief, which we are going to use right now. So that is going to be flaps 1 takeoff at 66 degrees flax. Okay, and then takeoff speeds are going to be 141, 145, 149. Alright, looking good. And our stabilizer at 25.3. Okay, enter. Packs on, anti-ice off. Reduction and acceleration should be 1,020 each. So 1020 and 1020. Okay, transition 11,000 is correct, and that's it. On the climb page, we don't need to pre-select anything, and that's basically our FMS entries completed. Easy going, as you can see. Alright, very good. Then we can get rid of the keyboard once again. Number 1, number 2, and number 3. Okay, wonderful. So with that, all our entries are completed. So I would say let's go ahead and go for our departure briefing as soon as you're ready. Just want to check on the MSA real quick there. And we're looking at 3.1, 1.9, 1.7. Okay, so 3,000 in the departure sector, 4,000 in the northeast. Northwest. Yeah, pilot stuff. I know. Okay, ready for the briefing? Then let's go. We are departing off Singapore 20 center. And our departure is going to be the Musbo 5 Bravo departure. Initial climb 3,000 feet, MSA 3,000 and 4,000 as we just said, and extra fuel is about nothing, but we have the conservative alternate available. Okay. So then, let's go for it. Hotspots for the planned taxi route, honestly, we can't take that first taxiway over here. We can't go over here. We gotta go over here. But that is it. Stop margin for rejected takeoff is about 500 meters. And the engine outsits straight at 25 miles. Climbing 3,000, pick up the hold over there. Now, if we need to make an immediate return, then we are below the maximum landing weight, and Singapore is the best option in the area. I don't have any special or non-standard operations. Do you have any threats for the departure? No? Okay. So that's a briefing completed. Cockpit preparation checklist, please. So, gear pins and covers removed. Fuel quantity 26 tons balanced. Okay, barrel reference QNH 1009. Cockpit preparation checklist complete. Okay, beautiful. Then I'd say let's get GSX to prepare the position for pushback and departure, please. And in the meantime, we can go ahead and do just that. So AP was running. External power is going off. Transponder on, TCAS above. And then let's say hello to our passengers. Ladies and gentlemen, a very good afternoon from the flight deck. This is your captain speaking. My name is Emmanuel, and in the name of Singapore, welcome aboard flight 1262 towards Kuala Lumpur. Flight time today 45 minutes at a cruising altitude of 26,000 feet. We would like to thank you very much for being our guests. Sit back, relax, and enjoy the flight with us. And if there is anything we can do for you to make it more comfortable, please do not hesitate to ask any of our cabin crew. Once again, thank you very much for your attention, and welcome aboard. Ground from flight deck? Go ahead. So please confirm all doors and hatches are closed, ground equipment is removed, and the bypass pin is installed. That's confirmed. Roger, stand by, we are getting the clearance. Okay, that's the point where we would call for our pushback clearance now. And seeing that there is no ATC over here, we can assume pushback clearance granted. Okay, before start checklist. So, park and brake, set, takeoff speeds and thrust. V1 141, VR 145, V2 149, flex 66. Before start checklist completed. Okay, ground flight deck, go ahead. So, we are ready for pushback at any moment you are, and please confirm we can release our park and brake. Stand by. So, lifting us up right now. Ground equipment should be disconnected. The doors are closed down here. And the flight deck door... a little bit laggy when you are moving around. Okay, the flight deck door is closed as well. Perfect. Okay, so... I'd say we are about ready to go. What does GSX say? Yeah. That's looking good. Okay, so nose left please on Victor 13. Okay, release park and brake. Brake released, clear to push. Let us know when we can start the engines, please. Roger, stand by for engine start. And here we go. On the way. So, let's see. It took us about 24 minutes to get to this point. We can improve on that. But then again, we are still learning the aircraft, so 24 minutes is probably not too bad. So, looking behind us, can't even see any road or anything, but they start turning us now. That's probably a good point to start the engines. So ground flight, start sequence will be 1, 2, 3, 4, starting 1 and 2. Clear 1 and 2. So N3 is increasing, N2 is following up. Interestingly enough, N2 is slightly higher than N3. That doesn't make much sense to me. The starter is connected to the N3 spool. So it doesn't really make sense that N2 is spinning faster. Then again, I'm not sure if there may be anything, let's say, completely out of the ordinary with the A380. So who knows? We'll have to see about it. Okay, so engines are spooling up nicely, and once number 1 and 2 are started, we can go ahead with numbers 3 and 4. Alright, so pushback seems more or less completed over here, and the avail light is showing. Then let's go ahead, starting engines 3 and 4. And here we go. So, pushback seems to do the last couple of adjustments right now. Go flat from ground, push is complete, set brakes. Brake set. Please remove all the ground equipment and stand by for engine start. So, 3 and 4 are in progress. And while we're on it, we can do those as well. So the oil quantity still reads 0. Obviously that would be a no-go item in the real world, but work in progress. It's an early alpha that we're using to record this, so nothing to be worried about. Even though I have to say, for an early alpha, this is quite a bit better than a lot of the payware early alphas we have seen recently. So, trim should be 37%. In the real world, the aircraft is equipped with an automatic trim, but fly-by-wire has not simulated that yet, as far as I'm aware. Okay, 37%. Wonderful. After start checklist, please. So, anti-ice, off. After start checklist complete. Clear on the left side. Clear on the right side. We'll do the fire control check during taxi. And then taxi is gonna be, oopsie, straight ahead, Victor, Papa, and then via Papa to the end onto runway 20 center. Okay, brake released. Off we go. Let's put the point of view a tiny bit upwards. The default one really seems rather low to me. I think this is probably quite a bit better. Okay, clear on the left side. I'm absolutely not used to sitting that high in the simulator just yet. Now the 747 is going to be impressive. That one's even higher than the A380, but this is already quite a different picture. Right, so we don't enter Quebec, and over here, as well as over here, you see the reasons why. The wingspan would be so massive of this aircraft that we would just clip all those light poles, and maybe even the jetways over here. For that reason, we gotta go straight ahead and take the next one. Okay, so I do not have any changes to the takeoff briefing. I think we can keep everything exactly as it is. So let's make that right-hand turn, and then we can run the procedures. Okay, off to the right. As you can see, I'm using quite a bit of oversteering technique over here in order to keep the airplane more or less along the center line of the taxiway. But with an aircraft this size, I don't think anyone should be surprised about that. Okay, so flight control check, please. Full up, full down, neutral, full left, full right, neutral. Pedal disconnect button is not simulated, but we've seen that the aircraft is turning, so we'll take it as the rudder works. Okay. So, looking good. Then, taxi flow. Auto brake. Transponder. Takeoff config. What doesn't it like? Flight control. Pitch trim FMS CG disagree. Okay, where's the problem? THS for 35.2. What does it sense? 36.6. Okay. Well, then we override this. 36.6. And here we go. Now we have takeoff config normal. Very good. Okay. Config is looking good. Then let's go ahead with the taxi checklist, please. So, flight controls, checked. Flap setting, config 1 plus F. Radar, on. And taxi checklist completed. So, one guy on the approach.
Runway awareness, okay. Meters.
Yep, thank you. Didn't ask for it, but hey. No, I just changed something in the RAS menu. So, that's probably why we got that. Alright then, next to the left, then we found our runway. So let's go ahead and reselect our nav display. So, the 350 has landed. Let's go ahead and turn our TCAS on to check if there is anyone else coming in. Yeah, one more guy on the approach, and then it's gonna be our turn thereafter. Can't see anything though. The visibility from the A380 cockpit really isn't that good. And I have no clue what that guy's doing. We'll just stop over here. Oh yeah, there he's coming. Always amazing how late those landing gears spawn. Alright. Then let's line up. Cabin crew, prepare for departure. So, since weather is not simulated, we're gonna go for terrain.
Approaching 20 center.
Intentionally. Right, line up checklists. So, takeoff runway, 20 center full length, cabin crew advised, packs 1 and 2 on, line up checklist complete. So, let's see if that guy is gonna do his strange movements like the previous 350 did.
On runway 20 center.
Intentionally. Alright, he's vacating. Very good. In that case, 20 center cleared for takeoff. Takeoff. Manflex 66, SS runway, auto thrust blue. Thrust set. V1, rotate. Positive climb, gear up. Nav, checked. Autopilot 1. Let me just turn those terrain displays off again. They seem to cause a little bit of stuttering. Thrust climb, climb, auto thrust. Checked. Okay, let's continue the climb. 10,000. Flap 0. Speed checked. And flap 0. The pitch is just so amazing here. 12 degrees and the airplane is accelerating with a trend vector that's up in the 15 knot regime. That's just really incredible power. But then again, we are very, very light here. Only 370 tons. So this behavior is kinda expected. For an A380, this is just not the type of flight that you would usually do. So our cruise level is filed as 260. Let's go ahead and dial that in. 26,000 blue. And then we'll monitor the flight progress here. A little bit of weather up ahead, but we'll just keep everyone seated. Both cabin crew as well as passengers, and then this weather should not be a problem at all. So the default point of view is just a tad low for my taste. I think something like this is probably more realistic. Oh, that's an interesting route line over here. That's looking much better. It's going to be interesting to see what it's going to fly if it changes its mind about that turn all the time. In any case, 10,000, lights off, seatbelts remain on. Well, there is not a lot to clear and copy, so let's not bother too much with that. Set standard. Standard cross-checked, passing flight level 115 now. Checked. So 290 knots looks about right. And the optimum is flight level 400, maximum 420. Well, let's actually see. How far are the top of climb and top of descent apart from one another? Yeah, that's about a, what's that, 60-mile cruise or something? Now we're about to reach the point where the airplane wants to fly the Immelmann. But that looks actually quite okay. I want to try something here. Let's go selected speed. And let's go something like 320. I want to see where the pitch ends up to be if we just fly that bit faster than the standard magenta speed. Because we need a pitch of 7.5 degrees or less in order to be able to release the cabin crew. I want to see if I can force that by just going a little bit faster than usual. So, reaching 320, pitching back up. Let's see what we're going to get. Yeah, just about 7.5. Well, looking outside, still a couple of clouds to clear. We are gonna wait for those. By that time we should be up high enough that we can release our passengers without worrying that the pitch might start to rise again. The problem here, of course, is not the passengers. The problem is the flight attendants and all the trolleys and everything they're taking out. So let's give ourselves a little shortcut here, direct to... And no, let's go direct to Maspel, because why not? So, direct, Maspel, insert. Okay, our pitch is very good now, not too high. The cabin is released. 3,000 to go. Speed, vertical speed. And that's 2,000 to go. Top of descent, 80 miles out. Perfect. Well, okay, let's already go back to managed speed here. And vertical speed back to 1,000 for the last 1,000 feet a minute up here. Okay, 1,000 to go. So, that's about it. Very good. So then, taking the shortcut down here, excellent. Alright, so let's go ahead and do a little bit more work already. So, 2 star, Gupta 1 Golf. That's probably the one we are gonna take. That's our standard lovely little point merge procedure. We all love them, don't we? Okay, first things first though, what's the weather? 330 at 3. And heavy thunderstorms? Yeah, so we are definitely gonna land northbound. Let's have a look at our airport chart, please. And in the meantime, I'll cruise. So, 8.5 minutes to get up here. That is definitely a quick climb. Alright, top of climb, 9 minutes, indeed. And we should have 18,800 kilos of fuel. And we have 21.7 at the moment. So we did save quite a bit. But we probably saved a couple hundred during taxi. And we took, yeah. We should have saved about 1,000 above the plan. So we should be looking at about 99, let's say 20 tons. We're 21.6, so we saved 1,600, which I really can't explain that well. We'll just leave it at that. Just no further questions asked. Okay, so back to work. Let's go ahead and find our airport chart so that we can decide on what we're gonna take here. So, airport. Well, I would say 3-2 left is probably best for us. Land over here, and then I think we're parking over here on Terminal 2. If I'm not totally mistaken. Quick look at flight radar reveals that I am mistaken. We are parking on the other side. Now the big question, of course, is which gates are certified for the Airbus A380. Because I don't think there is any dedicated A380 charts available here. Let's just scroll down a bit. Oh yeah, there is. Code F approved taxi routes. Here we are. So we'll take that. Now arrivals, we just said 3-2 left, didn't we? Yeah, arrival 3-2 left. Going into here. And then via the end, down to the satellite down here. Okay. So let's pin that one. So then we need an approach to runway 32 left, please. Initial approach, final approach. Coming in from Iguri up here. And then more or less straight in, I suppose. For some reason it doesn't want to pin my charts. I'm not sure what's going on there. So gotta get a little back down over here. Code F, arrivals, 3-2 left, yeah. Let's see if we can find any parking chart for Code F aircraft, but I don't think we can. Well, that's fine. No, not you, but the other one. No, not you, but the other one. That one. Only took us half a century to find. But once again, we can't pin this chart. Okay, I don't know what it is. Probably just a number of maximum charts that we are otherwise exceeding. If we look over here, it's 4 charts. Maybe that's the maximum we can pin. Well, I would hope that they would eventually add some more. In any case, initially that is all we need, so... Let's see, Gupta 1 Golf, We are gonna cross Nagpur, below level 170, about 30 miles out from the field. That is gonna be very, very high. At least provided we do get a shortcut over here, which I'm fairly sure we will. Okay, I'll tell you what, let's see if we can change this. So, got Vector 170 and then Nagpur down here. What if we can't change this? Okay. You should be able to. In any case, then we can still help ourselves. That's gonna take a waypoint behind this. 5 miles. If I set this one here down to 10,000 at or below, here we go. Then we should get quite an earlier top of descent. Perfect. That is what I wanted to get. Alright, so then let's go ahead and move into the performance again. So for the descent, there is pretty much nothing we need to do over here. Now let's go for the approach and let's get the latest weather. So we're looking at 300 at 4. The temperature is 24 degrees, QNH 1011. Alright, let's find our minimums. RLS 3 to left, minimum 288. That was easy. Okay. So that's pretty much everything we need down here. Now what we can do is to go back into SimBrief and have a look at the landing performance calculation. So let's bring that up for a moment and then we can go for landing performance. Landing on 3 to left down here. And let's try config 3 landing, see what we're going to get. Calculate. So flaps 3, brakes auto 1. And we have a margin of 1,516 meters, so easy, easy, easy. Nothing to worry about. Well, there is one thing to worry about, and that's the fact that I've selected a different runway than I actually want to land on. Let's do this real quick. So 3 to left. Approach ILS. Star Gupta 1 Golf via Iguri. Temporary flight plan, temporary insert. And then let's see if it recalculates. Yep, it does. So we can insert 10,000 in here, at or below. Temporary insert. Okay, and that should fix it. Now let's see if we killed anything in our performance with that. Wouldn't be surprised. Nope, it's all still there. Very good. Alright, so config 3 it is. And for the go-around, we can keep all the standard stuff here. Engine out acceleration, we'll put that up to the MSA, so 2,200 in our sector. Here we go. Perfect. Alright, let's go ahead and start an early descent. Last time we got a little bit high and had to capture from above. This time we don't want to do that, so speed descent alt flight level 160 blue. So someone who is a lot smarter than me actually told me if you want to use brake to vacate, be sure that you go into plan mode. Now you are absolutely right with that, and you are probably smarter than me. Now let's go to our destination airport. Let's wait until it's loaded that. Here we go. Awesome. Okay, so now let's see. For our brake to vacate. we will be selecting Charlie 2. But for some reason I just can't get this to work. It's gotta be me doing something wrong, but I just can't for the life of mine figure what it is. So 3 to left is in here. And I can't even select the taxiway up here. Aha! If I do a double click, what do we get? Map data? No. Okay, nope, that just doesn't get me where I want to go. Okay, I kind of thought I had understood the system, but looks like I haven't. In that case, we'll take auto brake low as has been calculated by our sim brief. Okay, so now we have the auto brake, and that should be it, I believe. Cool. Alright then, let's go ahead and turn on the fasten seatbelt sign, and then we can start with our approach briefing, please. Okay, so our arrival is the Gupta 1 Golf arrival with an MSA in the region of 3,000 feet all around the entire area. Coming down for an ILS approach onto 3 to left, minimum is 288. Go around trajectory is going to be straight ahead and then a left turn out. And climbing towards, let's just confirm that again. Climbing 3,500. Okay, extra fuel and time is more than sufficient, 18.4 tons. I'm absolutely happy with that. Okay, so the approach will be guided by the ILS, and depending on the actual weather conditions, I'll probably leave the autopilot in for a little while, but we'll see about it. Landing config 3, stop margin 1,500 meters. We will use idle reverse, auto brakes low, and the planned runway exit is at the very end to the right hand side. I don't have any hotspots for the taxi in, and nothing special or non-standard. Anything on your side? No? Wonderful. So, threats for the arrival? The weather could be a little bit of a threat, even though I have to say we are now 50 miles from the airport, and when I'm looking out over here there's just a little bit of low-lying cumulus, but no thunderstorms or anything the likes. Probably a case of Microsoft Flight Simulator not showing the weather really accurately, but, well, it is what it is, and I'm not going to complain about it if the weather is any better. Alright. Any questions? No? Beautiful. Ladies and gentlemen, from the flight deck, this is your captain speaking. We have started our descent towards Kuala Lumpur with a remaining flight time of 15 minutes. The weather at our destination at the moment, some rain showers and some gusty winds which might cause a little bit of turbulence as we are making our final approach. I would like to thank you very much for choosing to fly Singapore today. Hope that you have enjoyed your stay on board and very much look forward to see you all again on a future scheduled service. Thank you very much for your attention, and we wish you a nice and safe onwards journey. Okay. So, you might have noticed during the takeoff run, I did turn off the terrain display. The reason for that is, it seems to cause some micro starters over here. And, well, I just can't be bothered with micro starters at the moment. For that reason, I'm just turning it off. Okay, let's go ahead and start vectoring ourselves. Down to 10,000 please, set QNH. QNH 1011 cross-check, passing 18,640 now. Checked. Alright, let's do heading 260, and then we'll see if we can do a radial 2 direct in. So let's select the final fix over here. Fox 3 to left. And then we want course in. But looks like that is currently not simulated. Well, that's too bad. Okay, in that case, let's just take carbo, insert, and pull heading. Okay. 6,500 feet high. Yeah, maybe. We can change that though. Speed brake is out. Signs are on anyway. Very good. So let's see. We have 42 miles remaining. So we should be roughly in 12,000. Yeah, maybe a little bit lower than that in 10,000. Nothing the speed brake couldn't fix for us. Something that's a little bit strange though, if you look at the nav display, you will see our level off arrow. It's located 25 miles ahead, and that's for 10,000. I can tell you straight away that we are going to be in 10,000 quite a bit earlier than here. So not quite sure why it's showing this at the moment. That's probably going to be a bug. Okay, let's help it a bit. Full speed brake. $4,000 feet a minute. That's a nice rate going down, isn't it? Alright, let's make it 5,000 feet, please. And interestingly enough, the arrow barely changed. That really indicates to me that there is something wrong with it, but, well, we can do these mathematics ourselves, can't we? At least you can see we are very quickly catching up with the vertical deviation scale. That's one of those things that I really like about the A380, or in general about those Airbus planes. Right, passing 10,000, the managed speed should go down towards 250. It even tells us speed limit exceeded. But you should really come down. Let's see, performance. Oh well, if it's not doing it automatically, then we do it manually. So, speed back 250. $15 miles to run, and the final fix is in 3,500. Easy going. Let's just go ahead and enter another shortcut over here. Fox, insert, and heading. This should provide us with a little bit better VNAV profile here. Right, down to 3.5. And then we can do the approach checklist, please. We don't need to do the departure change checklist. The only question is, can we clear that somehow? I don't think we can, so let's just click it away then. Okay, approach checklist. And speed brake is going back in now. So, barrel ref, QNH 1011. Minimum, Baro 288, auto brake, low, and that's the approach checklist completed. Okay. So then, turn right, heading 290, cleared ILS approach, runway 32 left. Activate approach phase and confirm. So, cleared ILS. Oh, and I didn't do the 10,000 foot flow. Well, that is done now. Cabin crew landing in 5 minutes. Repeat, 5 minutes. Alt. Let's start slowing down. Okay, so all that good stuff is done. We do have a nice little headwind here, 10 knots roundabout. So let's go ahead and enjoy a little bit of hand flying. Ooh, that was a nifty little wind change. Tell you what, I will just synchronize that heading over here. Let's not mess with it. Lock star. Flaps 1. Speed checked. Flaps 1. So let's see how well the aircraft hand flies. Let's maintain those 180 knots until we intercept the glide. Blast up star. Go around altitude 3,500 set. Lock. Very easy, to be honest. Oh, it's very easy to maintain that speed. Well, let's go flaps 2 to avoid the speed increasing any further. Speed checked, flaps 2. Glass globe. Just a quick check. Go around altitude is 3.5 indeed. Very good. So just to be on the safe side here, looks like a couple of low-lying clouds are coming in now. Remember, we had something around scattered 200 in the forecast. I will keep manually flying the plane though, because I want to see what's going to happen. But nonetheless, we want to be sure that we are stable through the 1,000-foot gate. But I'm sure we will.
2,500.
Checked. Gear down. Flap 3, speed checked. Flap 3. Flaps full. No, actually 3 is final. Well, that was easy to slow it down. That was very easy to slow it down. Okay, a landing checklist. Ecam memo, landing no blue, landing checklist complete. So, the pitch seems a little bit low to me. I would expect a little bit higher pitch with flaps 3. But then again, I don't have an A380 QRH, which I could use to look up any of those tables, so can't really comment on that for sure. Alright, I think I see the approach lights right over here. The key to flying in heavy aircraft like this, checked. The key to flying in heavy aircraft like this is to try and maintain as consistent as possible. So only do very small changes in the pitch, very small changes in the thrust. The weather can cause temporary deviations, but once you have assumed your stable values, the aircraft is normally not going to need much of a correction for weather. That's the good thing about the huge inertia and mass you have available in an aircraft like this one. Okay, approach lights inside. Land. Checked. And the runway is inside up there.
100 above.
Speed is checked, correcting.
Minimum.
Continue.
$50, $40, $30, $20, retard, $10, $5.
Very nice. Okay, speed brake up. No thrust reverse. Manual brake.
Auto brake off.
That was a little strange. The thrust reversers just didn't come on, and auto brake worked quite a bit stronger than I would have expected. In any case, there is no traffic immediately behind us, but let's go ahead and vacate the runway over here. And then immediately first to the left again. Okay, we're going to turn to the left onto Charlie, and once we're on Charlie, that is when we'll do the after landing procedures. Here we go. So, speed is at 25 knots, that's very good. And here we are. So, the temperature is well below 30, that means we can retract our flaps. Speed brake coming in. So, 37 minutes. And here we go. Okay, perfect. So then, remember our taxi chart? If not, we can always look it up. I think I've pinned the wrong runway there. Anyway, it doesn't matter. To the end, to the right. I think this is the taxi out chart. Well, doesn't really matter too much. Code Foxtrot taxi routes arrival 32 left. Yeah, that's the correct one. Okay, so indeed, first to the right onto Golf, and then via Golf and Sierra 8 over to the satellite terminal up there. And that is over there in the back. So let's go ahead and add a little bit of thrust again, just to be sure to get the aircraft moving. Okay, so to the right over here, and there is the satellite. We're going to decide on the gate as soon as we have made that right-hand turn. That's the classic aviate, navigate, communicate. Aviate also means steering your aircraft on the ground. So, ground speed 10, and we turn off to the right. A little bit of thrust, as we are losing quite a bit of speed during those turns. That is looking good. So, going into here and then parking on Charlie 25. Oh, getting a bit fast right now. So, GSX, and we're looking for Charlie. That's quite a couple of suitable gates, but we're looking for Charlie 25. The interesting thing here is, it says gate heavy, but heavy is actually insufficient. We're a super in the A380. That sounds really strange. So now the big question, is the bridge gonna hold as we go over it? Or are we going to bury that little train beneath us? No, it's holding, okay. Alright, so maybe we can do a little bit of feedback about our flight already. So, the second flight on the channel in the fly-by-wire Airbus A380. And it remains just as awesome as it was on the first one. Couple of smaller things that we came across that obviously could be improved, but taking into account that this is the first release of the aircraft and they did make it a pre-release, it is an alpha version, they say. Now, honestly, if we rate it against that, if we say it is an alpha, then it is probably the best alpha I've seen in Microsoft Flight Simulator pre-release history. Now, in my opinion, it is in a really, really good state, and I do really enjoy flying this. Fly-by-wire did do an awesome job over here, and in hindsight, I'm really happy that they waited and developed the aircraft to the standard, and not just went ahead when everyone said after the expo, oh, just release it. No, I'm really happy they didn't. I'm really happy they put it together in the shape where it is right now, and I really think they've done an awesome job doing this for the community. Definitely the best freeware aircraft available, which is not to say that there are no other good freeware aircraft, but this one is really just beating it to it. Just think about the OANS. Except for the A380, I'm only aware of the Latin VFR aircraft that have OANS integrated. At least OANS as in the Navigraph OANS. So these kind of features just make it really cool, and we've got the latest generation of airliner over here, and seeing that a freeware team is bringing it to a shape like it is right over here, that is really, really good. Compare it to the recent releases. You could easily have sold this for some $50 US, and it would probably have been just as successful as it is now in the freeware version. So this is really a huge service to the community by the developers over at Fly-by-Wire, and it is really, really, really an awesome airplane. I can't overemphasize that. Alright, so let's get it into the gate now. Make sure that we don't accidentally stop too early. Okay, the guidance system says no type, but we do have a marshal out down here. That is all we need. And stop. I can't see you anyway anymore. Okay, parking brake set, APU bleed on, and shut down. Cabin crew, all doors in park. Okay, looking wonderful. The engines are running down. I am definitely gonna keep the APU up and running. So then, fuel pumps. And that should be it. So, parking checklist, parking brake hot shocks, brake set, wing lights, off, parking checklist complete. So, thank you very much everyone, I sure hope you found this one interesting. Let's go ahead and request deboarding, and in about an hour or so the aircraft is gonna be empty then. In the meantime, I would like to say thank you very much for flying along. I do hope that you all enjoy the A380 just as much as I do. I can promise you I most definitely do. So in the meantime, thank you very much for watching. As always, be sure to like, comment and subscribe, and if you really love what I'm doing on the channel, I would appreciate a small donation through the Buy Me Coffee link in the video description below. But until then, thank you very much, and I'm looking forward to see you all again on the next one.